Hello, welcome, SpeedGaming fans. You're tuning in to more Mentor Tournament. So this is round 2 of the Super Metroid Map Rando Mentor Tournament. And we are into a lower bracket match between AntonioFornaris and Leslie Pro 04. Mentor Tournament is based around the idea of having mentors guide the runners through each of the seeds. So Antonio's side is going to have his beardness, and then Leslie Pro's side will be Nito. And that looks like a miss on starting the timer. Unfortunate. We're going to have to take away Antonio's timer now. And we'll be just following Leslie's. So Leslie does have the wreck ship tile set. I think that's all that's happening, but the color also looks a little off to me. But it might just be the retiling for the wreck ship tile set theme. Retiling, the default, if you're using retiling, it's going to match the zone you're in with the tile set used. And so that's why it's going to be wreck ship tiles while we're in wreck ship here. And it looks like Nis is guiding Antonio to just go left. Like, take a path and continue all the way through. And Nito and Leslie are inspecting the local doors. Trying to check out all the doors off of this hub, it seems. I don't know if like resetting out of Main Street was like the right call. There's a save right below it. But you could have gone down. You're allowed to pass through water rooms, even in basic. I couldn't really tell what was below. Not up. So, have we seen this top left door? Yeah, it's an objective. A little important to recognize that. That's why we have 2 runners, so I can catch it the second time. So Mother Brain and Wreck Ship. We're playing depth, and that means Wreck Ship is near the top. Oh, there's also... Oh, it's item draft. I wasn't paying attention to that part. Speed booster charge. Yeah, sorry. Distracted setting things up. I made sure not to get the medium lower part wrong. That part I looked at. But item draft would have told me a lot about the starting situation coming into this race. Okay. So you look at Speed Booster and Main Street, and you say, why not get item? But that's at least in hard. So it's really up to the runners on what they're capable of pulling off. Even if something isn't hard to do, it could take them a long time to learn the trick and then execute it. And it's still a race. And where it's usually just a good idea to do fast things. So we get supers. Raid from the SpeedGaming. Welcome. We're the lowly SpeedGaming 3 here. So we're playing Super Metroid Mentor Tournament. Antonio versus Leslie Pro. And it looks like we're not getting early maps. Oftentimes you get a morph ball in the very early steps, but don't have it yet. It looks like Antonio's in the lead. Spazer. If we had charged Spazer, what would you do with it? A reserve tank. We've already found the filler E tank. Those in Terminator. So this reserve tank is just randomly placed. And you're kind of back to blinding. Oh, going for the check. It burns a lot of energy to make this check. If you take a save right before, like they did, then it'd be reasonable to like jump up, try and see both items, and then reset. On the other hand, if you're getting big energies per firm, then that's fine too. Oh yeah, timer. Let us banish this timer. Prop timer gone. Antonio's timer just says whatever Leslie's timer, but 15 seconds less. So just forgot to start his timer. No more confusion to be had. The logic looks to me like it's supers right now. You would not be expected to go through Flower House. I'm not sure what logic is on Flower House. Trying to remember the logic is hard, actually. On medium, it has you take a Meta Knight hit. But on basic... Oh, we are on medium. Okay. So that would be... It'd be a lot of heat damage plus a Meta Knight and also a bug. Something like that. And then the amount of heat just across the room, it's usually about 120. Times multiplier of 2.5 is just under 400 energy. So that's what we're looking at for Flower House. We need about 6 tanks. We're a third of the way there. Okay, I do want to see them go down below Main Street. Yes. Passing through water rooms is allowed. Is this attic to the right of Main Street? Because before this patch, Logic was expecting you to bring a Shine Spark through that door at the bottom right of Main Street to Shine Spark up to the item. But that was something that was targeted and removed from medium logic and put into very hard. But in this case, where it's attic... Oh, it's not attic. What is it then? Okay, it's not a runway room. So, it's not important to mention it, but... It was one of the things that stood out, like, as being way too hard for medium. Decent example right here. Jumping up to the middle path, the middle door in Main Street, is not too hard, but it could be slow to teach the mentee how to do it. Going forward, you definitely want to know how to do this. There's Morph. I just hope that Nis isn't confused by the logic. Because you can come down here and get this Morph Ball. Then what do you do with it? This looks like you go to climb supers. Whenever I see early Big Pink, I always think of the Morph Tunnel as a place to use Morph Ball. But we spawned in climb supers room. And that just takes... It's probably 2 spike hits each way. On medium. On hard, it's 1 each way. But there's a tech for something about using iframes on spikes. And that comes into play in hard logic. So it's going to expect 2 hits each way, and they have the 2 tanks for that now. Gonna want to have them full, for sure. And then there's also construction zone at the top. But essentially, they've seen that the maps are not reachable. So, you know you have to blind. So they're going to blind. Leslie going to take a save before the spike hits. Made it. Missile pack. Don't need that. Let's see what happens when the reserves proc. Because you're going to get hit again. Okay. So 5 hits. But the reserve activating hit was only 20 damage. If reserves are over about... I want to say 40 for spikes. Because my rule of thumb is 60. But on spikes, you get fewer iframes. So let's say if you have more than 40 energy in your reserve, you're going to get double hit. Oh, cool. Leslie just ran. We saw Antonio doing a damage boost. Damage boosts are in very hard. Yeah, just 3 hits for Leslie. Well done. Because logical damage boosts don't come up that often. Like you can see that it was used here in Climb Supers to cross the spikes, but it wasn't very helpful. Being able to run on the spikes is more helpful. So if you're ever questioning horizontal damage boost, that's in very hard. There's a different kind of damage boost that is in hard, where you just get popped up. You just stand there and you get bounced. That's in hard. Smart to use the B-toms to farm. Normally B-toms only give 5 energy per drop, and it'd be pretty worthless collecting the drops. But map Rando, it's doubled to 10 per drop. And so if you farm them twice, then that's a full E-tank. Then Antonio took much more damage in the spikes than Leslie did. So it's relief located. Spring ball. Spring ball jumps are in medium. It might want you to spark to spring ball jump to the middle of Main Street. I didn't mark it over here. You can do the spring ball jump from below. No, I think that also counts as a through-door gravity jump, and that'd be part of hard. So no. But that's definitely something that comes up in hard races, is when you can logically jump up to the middle of Main Street. And if this were a hard race, you would not be expected to get to middle of Main Street until you get that spring ball. Because the wall jump everyone does isn't in logic either. So we got 2 big pink, maybe? Leslie setting up a save outside of big pink. Speedball's also in very hard. I'm not expecting anyone to do a speedball to break through some of these bomb blocks. If you can sequence break to this Main Street item, it's probably a good item. But it would be a sequence break to get up top to the middle door, and then also a sequence break to get a shine spark from a dry room. Assuming there's a dry room there. Oh, okay, yeah. So spring ball jumping up here is logic. And I don't think there's enough runway for a shine spark. But I think something that's not so clear in medium is you can bring a shine spark into a water room and then shine spark. And with the gravity room being there, like, it might look like something you can do. The amount of runway you need in medium is 26 tiles or something. So it's a lot of tiles, bigger than a single room. But where you have big pink into gravity room, into, like, you can use a little bit of the water room. Okay. Options are low, so if there is a runway below, you can get back up below G4. I would do it for sure, because running back through the water room is really slow, and they have a save right at the top of Big Pink. So on Leslie's side, I would be dropping down here. But yeah, looking at this gravity room runway, that's also really long. Oh, they just reset. I don't like that reset. See what's below the runway and then reset. So Beard King Nisking Antonio to do another through-door gravity jump. These are in hard. So this is not the expected way to do this transition. It would have to be carrying a Shine Spark through the door. But we saw that you can do it. His first jump was to the top of the water. If you have more run speed, then it's a lot easier to jump past the ledge. Yeah, you need to not break spin, but that would have been good. Normally what blocks you is the ledge right above the door. But if you have a lot of run speed, then you're going to clear that easy. Okay, gets up. So yeah. When you don't have the numbers and figures, it's hard to tell exactly what's expected. So maybe it wants them to do the through-door Shine Spark. Every time you go through a transition while doing a short charge, it adds like some logical tiles, or takes away logical tiles. So you need even more. I think it's still just a tile and a half, even being medium. Crossing West Ocean is in medium. That is the definition of can careful jump. To me, anyway. I don't know how everyone thinks about it. I don't know where Leslie wants to go. There was the one check that Antonio did before coming over here to Torian. Down through C. So it might be that. No, they've already been there. Nito is someone who really knows the logic. But at the same time, no one understands medium logic. I feel like Words might understand it the best. Words and devs. But this is the kind of thing you really need to separate out your understanding of hard, and then you cut out a few techs that are purely medium. Like where hard is the most race competitive race. It's very helpful to know what's specifically in hard. You need to be able to compare the hard trick to the below hard and the not in logic when you're racing hard. So if you know what's definitely in hard, then you usually have a strong idea of what is in medium off of that. Oh, they didn't have Spring Ball. I thought they just saved before. Huh. I thought they just saved before going down to the T. Okay. Now, Antonio's side is out of options. So where are they going? You can actually cross... Oh, they reset too. You can cross Grapple Tutorial 3, which is the bottom door of West Ocean. You can cross that really easily with a Spring Ball Mock Ball. But it wouldn't be logic. Doubly so because, well, it should be called Can Spring Ball Bounce, and that was moved to hard kind of recently. See? So the jump to the middle is in medium, actually, because you have a lot of speed. It's the jump from the middle to the right that wouldn't be. Looks like Antonio's coming back down to go below G4. Now the G4 situation, it's one of the things that it's unavoidable for the generator to create this situation where you don't know if you can get back once you go down. And usually the only way you can get around that is either to save and then check, or to check every other possible option first and then come back. They've kind of both done it. Antonio's checked the top of Halfy Climb Room, and Leslie has not. I wonder how Nis prefers doing this. Doing the wall jump or doing the spring ball jump. You'd want to wall jump the other direction, to the right. Because then you just pop out on the correct side. So as expected, there's a runway. And also as expected, it is Morph Ballroom. Because if it were Lornorfer Main Hall, then it'd be a lot of heat, and that shouldn't be expected. It would just be way too much damage. I'm pretty sure that you take Grapple up to Grapple Tutorial 3. That room it stands out a lot, especially logically. So it's worth learning the name Grapple Tutorial 3. I can see that. Oh yeah, we're on the advanced tracker, so I can mark this. Forgot this tracker had it. Something to point out is when you go through a transition... Did Antonio just run into Mini Crate? When you go through a transition with a Shine Spark, then logic takes away an amount of time from your Shine Spark timer. I think on hard it's 1 second. On medium it's probably 90 frames, I mean. 90 frames. So it'd take away about half of your Shine Spark timer to approximate being able to do this in medium. So it's very rare for it to come up. Most of the time it's going to be you stop your Shine Spark right next to the transition. you can do a thing. Okay. Very good, Antonio. Coming off this elevator, the way you want to do it is you buffer a spin jump to the side. And then technically an up spark is faster, but a diagonal spark is a lot more comfy to me. Heck and grapple. The enemies that get inside your hitbox are always hard to hit. But I'd say that problem is a lot more problematic in A Link to the Past. Yeah, those castle guards, like running around in your hitbox, you just can't get them off. Leslie's making negative progress. Uh-oh. I think we're gonna have to learn how to grapple these blocks. It's a handy skill. But also, you should be doing a gravity jump. Just saves a lot of time. Looks like Antonio is going to save. Leslie not taking a save. The way I see this playing out, you go through Grapple Tutorial 3, through the Super Gate, and then you go to the top of West Ocean to fall back down. So that's how you can go through a one-way. Oh, made it up. Okay. So we're gonna get the water item. Should be getting the water item. In logic or not, the mentors are here to fix the escape. Missile in the water. It's just, you'd like to have a missile. I'd like to see Leslie farm here. But Antonio knows what to do. They've even seen the top door already. So, it's not going to back out. And then I'm expecting a loop that goes up. Ooh, heat. Losing all of your supers is quite a problem. There's one thing that's a problem, that'd be it. In a higher difficulty, it could want you to go through Oasis. Oh, options. This is a little bit of a case where it'd be helpful to have scouted the super locked item in West Ocean. But coming over here, there's a big hub. There's probably the correct answer over here. What is the medium logic? When you have options like this, you want to look for the medium trick. All the medium runners also need to be aware that you can kill which enemies you can kill with grapple. Because if you can, arming crabs is like very efficient with grapple. Sick jump. Ah, here's an item. This is what we call a medium trick. It's faster to run in water than to jump the entire way. Yeah, we the devs rearranged the Shine Spark logic. Like renamed some things. That was mostly that was it. So horizontal Shine Spark is in medium. Midair is in medium. Horizontal midair is in hard. then Shine Charge Movement Complex. Bombs was it? Isn't very hard. I don't feel like I got all that right. Shine Charge Movement is another tech that's a medium. Going back for the health. Not really worth. But that's mostly if you're not... like if you're farming the crabs. We have bombs. Bombs. I know what bombs are good for. We'll find a place. This looks like it has to be Torian hoppers on the right. I think all the other caution doors have to go down a tile. So if you're doing Torian hoppers, you need to heal up. Torian hoppers expects 2 hits each way, I want to say. Oh, Mickey Mouse. Right. Wasteland we've seen. Yeah, Mickey Mouse was added to the caution list. That's the room where, as soon as you enter the door, you're hit by a viola, and you take a pile of heat damage. Another trick, very handy to know, is can stop on a dime. Speedrunners use that to stop on elevators. And so, in a speedrun, you get very, very good at it. You just hold angle and release direction. Pseudo? Who actually likes pseudoing through Metroids? Nice. Just outran him. Then with bombs or spring ball, you can get up to the items here on the left. So, wait. Was that a blank? The mini-map says missile. The HUD says nothing. So I think that's one of our 2 blanks. I have this super block on my list of things to change in the next release. In medium, it expects you to only use 1 super to get down to the item and then back up. Plasma located. Very nice. I wasn't really a fan of Leslie's plan to go through Oasis, because spring balling up is in very hard. I'll see what Plasma does, though. Everything over here is probably the same step as bombs. Where it's normal, it's a little bit tricky to know what logic wants. Now that we're 30 minutes in. But typically, you would take your new progression item and immediately follow it. So you'd be looking for a place to use bombs. Such as in Big Pink. There's the charge item, and then also just the bomb blocks. Leslie making their way over to Plasma and Reserve Tank. More reserve is more good. At least that's what I see happening. The seed is not giving them maps. That's one of the 2 ways to greatly slow down a seed. have the maps, then you gotta blind everything. And if you don't have suits, then that means you're gonna be doing everything slowly. Ice Beam, what does Ice Beam do? Oh, of course, we can use Ice Beam to climb Main Street, right? Now, the race has been going back and forth. A lot of Antonio running around a lot everywhere. Finding... generally making progression faster. Leslie is sort of skipping some steps. Let's clean it up later. But they're still neck and neck in this race. Except we're looking for use for either ice or another use for bombs. We still have the filler items from Tricky. That's going to be all the beams plus X-ray. At least I think this is how it goes. But where's normal? You're going to be given a bunch more majors. So it's a lot harder to judge. Like what's filler and what's needed. It doesn't look like that save continues through both directions. So I don't really expect this left door to continue to the map. But you might as well check it. The map's still very valuable. Now there is another door that could go to the map, so I like continuing very much. Oh, right. And it's also just obvious that map rooms only have one entrance and we've seen it on the Big Pink side. Okay. Let's reword why I like this play now. This comes out through the Big Pink crumble blocks. Guaranteed. And so everything in here does have a loop. Okay. We need to see what's here on the right. You can do it, Antonio. Nothing. So is Leslie going to make the same choice? Kind of backing out. Maybe that's because they saw the green gate one way. But these short loops are a thing that you do need to think about. They have bombs now. So there is criteria with the Zila room. Grade Zilas. Looks like it's the type of seed where you have to cross the full explored world over and over. Volcano room. So, volcano room forward is just over one tank. Like, optimally. So that'd be okay. Volcano room with a farm. I think it could be possible. And then part of your choice is which rooms you remember you can do. Right. There's the Gauntlet E-Tank room they can get through now too. On the right side is the gate glitch. On the left side is you can bomb all the way through Gauntlet. But they didn't refill energy, so I doubt this was on their mind. Are they going to the super wall? They never went to the super wall. So speed booster. Okay, nailed the jump. Never mind. With speed booster, I do a running jump along the bottom to build up speed, get the right jump height. We saw Leslie do an IBJ to get up. Yeah. This crab secret tunnel, not always faster. I find I have a lot of trouble escaping the water when I go this way. So I think there's a period where you just shouldn't take this path. Like until you're practiced at how to get out of the water in particular. Or if you have gravity. One of those things that you can see the top runners do it, but you shouldn't do it yourself until you're ready. Now this escape on the left, not really indicated by the game. I'd almost say it was meant as a return route, but the return route's not indicated at all. So, more of an X-ray path. Okay, that's not good. I'm thinking about the Shine Spark you can do in the Crab Maze. And I think it is a Stutter Shine Spark. Stutter Shine Charge. There's a lot of runway. And if you can just do a flat Shine Spark all the way back left, then they have enough health to cross the room, but I don't think you can do a flat Shine Spark. Antonio heading towards Volcano Room, it looks like. It's either that or just wants the health refill. From these Metroids? Metroids are a good refill. Don't miss your missiles. Plower House. Plower House with Plasma would be in logic. What I said before was only if you have no items. But with Plasma, you would stop and kill the bats. And then it would be about 4 tanks. The minis do 80 damage, so you do need to be very careful. But it's nothing. Beam logic comes up much more rare than movement item logic. So it's not something to think about. An example is how when you're pointing out spazer logic, you talk about the bottom of wreck ship main shaft as a logical use of spazer. But it also has kill strats involving spazer. So some of those would be mini crade. And then there's also the ice wave spazer, like full beam or full new route beam kill logic. But it's pretty rare for that to come up. Very rare for that to come up. Okay, Antonio's at full energy. We're going to be going through Volcano Room. Going forward should be fine on 4 tanks. It takes barely more than 1 tank to do the room very well. I'm expecting like 2 or 3 tanks lost. Yeah. Okay, that's not the answer. Get to cross that off as an option. Do they have ice on the right? They should by now. There it is. Most of the items you can visually identify if they've collected it or not. It's another reason why tracking is not so bad. Like, there's not that many items overall, and you can see nearly all of them if you watch. Okay. Now the Leslie side hasn't been down the left of Torian. There's a little loop over there that you can do. Antonio coming through Flower House now. You can see it's not actually dangerous. Okay, now he's dead. I take it back. Escaping acid is incredibly deadly. Yes, they're cursed. Acid and lava is one of the hardest things to write the logic for. Because when you make a mistake, it doesn't scale the same way that every other type of mistake scales. I suppose, like, bumping an enemy, missing your jump because of it, also doesn't scale well. Those situations have to be identified and broken off into their own strats. But lava and acid movement is something that it always applies. Like, it's more like it has its own kind of scaling than something that you would make a special strat for. If you'd like to volunteer, tracking's that easy. Just sign up on the Mentor Tournament Discord. What's our command anyway? SMMR? Mentor? Super Metroid Map Rando Mentor. You can also sign up for doing comms. A little bit of a mentor shortage. We needed 6 mentors simultaneously at the start of this race. Oh yeah. That's another valid way through Flower House. I think most of the communities on SpeedGaming could benefit from additional volunteers. That's a double hit. Oh no! Ouch. I think Nito's out of ideas. No? Okay. Because Oasis isn't very hard, but they can do it. There's a tight springball jump in the middle that the mentees would probably miss a few times. But not actually that difficult. And if you sequence break and you get something good out of it, then that's better than blinding. Oh, there we go. We saw a pseudo screw through a Metroid. Logic followed. So Antonio going to go for the Shine Spark again. And again, this is logical because you would bring the Shine Spark to the entrance of the next room. I think you store it like during the transition or something. You don't have to cross over. I'm pretty sure crossing over is not technically the logic. You would shoot the door and then Shine Spark. And you just ride out the Shine Spark through the whole room. And then Pillar Room with just bombs is basically impossible. I have no idea how much health it would take without Variosuit. But even with Variosuit, I can't do it. So we are in for a long race today. As our racers do not know where to go, and the seed is not providing maps. The good news is they're improving all of their skills on these edge case tricks. They can try and climb Main Street some more. What was over here in West Ocean? Right, the Gauntlet E-Take item. This race is a real marathon. Because after this, there's still potentially 2 more games. This is a best of 3. Medium bracket, lower side. So whoever loses is out of the tournament. Potentially 3 games in a row. And this is what we're given for game 1. No boss kills at 52 minutes. I'm still looking at Gauntlet E-Tank. It's an item, it's bomb locked. But the logic on Gauntlet E-Tank item, when you have bombs and not power bombs, is kind of weird. It expects you to roll through the acid, and rolling through acid is so much damage. Antonio's back at this wall jump into Main Street. If he's good at spring ball jumps, then that would be a little easier, in theory. I always wall jump up on the left side, and then turn around immediately. Both runners sequence breaking. Okay, so let's talk about the spring ball jump through Oasis. This is the hardest part. You need to do a crouch jump, and then at the peak of your... Why are we bombing? Only Nito. If you place a bomb, that's an indicator of a double high jump plus spring ball jump. Yeah, what Leslie's trying to do, and got up there, very nice. You just need to do the spring ball jump part at the peak of your jump. As soon as you start falling, either start falling or stop gaining height, you can't do the spring ball jump anymore. So you need to go as high as possible and then do it. And you get just enough height to make it. And then these top two are just regular springball jumps. But typically you don't want to buffer them. But it depends how you set it up. But it's that middle jump that puts this into very hard. And this wall jump that Antonio is doing is also in very hard. Because you have to do a wiggle. You have to know how to wiggle back to the left to make it up to the middle part. With springball, it's in hard. You do a springball jump from below the door. And then there's also some more fancy ways to get up here. Like you can do a bomb springball jump from the right door. But either way, it seems like the mentors don't see the logic. Or they've had enough of exploring. Now Leslie got the hard part. This is really just a regular springball jump. Maybe the way that Leslie does springball jumps just naturally lands on the peak height jump. Nis knows that's not in logic, what he's doing. But you might be thinking that there's some strat he's not aware of. At the same time, though, Nis would be able to access the logic pages while Antonio is attempting things. And could look up the options, the possibilities. And also the helpful instructions. How the devs say you should be doing this. I don't know that any of the mentors have gone to the logic pages themselves during a race. Typically, they'd expect to know everything required in medium and in hard. But we're into very hard here on both sides. Leslie pulled off the very hard trick. Gets an E-tank for it. We're pretty low on ammo too still. So missiles not even bad. Still inside Torian. Torian's the one with the powerbomb locked map. Oh, nice. Gets the wall jump up through Ice Snake Room. Now we're into Pre-Ridley. It's called the Lornorfer Farm Room. That was almost a death. If you fall in the acid to there, it's over. Oh no. Now to run it back. So we saw bowling. Bowling is not active. I think Leslie wanted to pause before trying this to drain reserves, but I think it's over. The ass is just too deadly. Now we're back before the Oasis climb. There's one more door on the top right that they didn't inspect. I would say, especially looking at this map of Torian, that they should go directly to the gauntlet item. Because you're out of ideas. Just get the item. Seats are I don't spot the logic. It's a little hard to like take in all the information based on what someone else is showing you. So yeah. A lot of the time the mentees have a way that they know how to play a seed, so they'll just play it at their own pace, and you gotta pick up the information as you get it. As for being completely stumped, I haven't done enough mentoring for that, really. I've mentored 2 or 3 people now. So I haven't done too much. It's a lot like being here on the restream and trying to piece together logic. Now, Ice and Spring Ball can do any of the Avir rooms, any of the sand holes. It's just an extreme. Okay, no comments in the race room. We've been trying out disabling comments during races. It's a setting that I turned on during the Expert Challenge tournament. See if Antonio can spring ball jump up here. You can also walk the fish to the left. I think that's what I tend to do. Just timed it really poorly. Doesn't have years of experience in freezing that particular fish. We found Mickey Mouse, so that was Mickey Mouse and not Torian Hoppers. What was I saying? Oh yeah. We turned off chatting during races. So we've turned off that setting on the weeklies now too. And I think it's still on for the tournament races here, the mentor tournament. Mostly because you need someone knowledgeable in it to set up the correct race settings. And I don't even think that Inertia lets us do that. And Inertia is the bot that we use to create all the races, all the race rooms. Okay, at long last, Leslie is heading towards this green gate. But this is not the answer. Because Antonio's already been this way. Are they both overlooking Gauntlet E-Tank, or am I overlooking something? It's in the middle of the screen the whole time. Yeah, the racers have been stuck for 35 minutes now. Not making progress. Antonio's side has been trying to get up Main Street at least 3 times. Right. So a Gauntlet E-Tank item, you have to roll through the acid, logically even, to get to the item. Since the other side is a gate glitch, and it's not going to expect that either. But they're out of ideas. So you can definitely look at the item without rolling through the acid. I'm just wondering why neither side has looked at the item yet. I think we're still logically following bombs, but we use bombs to get Ice Beam, so that part's not super clear either. Okay, Leslie breaking logic through the tube. This is a soft lock unless they find power bombs. And power bombs are definitely findable. That's an out-of-logic power bomb pack. Or I guess actually could loop to the left, couldn't it? That would be the kind of logic that I missed and overlooked. If you could clip through the tube and then run all the way left. I don't know if that's a thing. Okay. I did not overlook it because that is not what is happening. This is a bailout. And they're both doing it. They're both getting the same out-of-logic bailout at the same time. The race is still on. You're right next to the map, so you get the map. You have to go down and I guess hope that it's not something too hard. Could go up. Can't go up. No, you can go up. Okay. So to get to the top, you just have to springball jump all the way up. And then we've already seen that this comes out at the crumble blocks in Big Pink. I just would have thought that it also connected to the waterway door. You don't need a max height springball jump to get up through the tube. It looks like Nis and Antonio are setting up the gravity jump. If you can do that, it's a lot faster. You just need to shoot the door as you rise. But even landing on the top platform, it's going to save all these springball jumps. Oh. Oh no, he turned around. Nope. There was a lot of tells that that was not going to be a jump to the top. Maybe I'll crouch jump down, grab this one. But from watching Leslie springwall jumps, I feel like he needs to just press the buttons faster. And otherwise isn't getting the morph before the pause is ready. Or like doesn't have all the inputs in order to get the springboard jump off in time. Probably needs to pause sooner too. Oh, that was nice. Antonio saved time there. Jumped right to the top. Now this top springboard jump is the tricky one. So hopefully Nis and Nito remember. This one you have to unmorph after the springball jump. You can probably do it too low, so that doesn't work, but basically you just need a springball jump and then unmorph to touch the transition. So Antonio didn't morph in time there. You have to be fully morphed and still rising to springball jump. You need to memorize those rules. Especially when it comes to learning double springball jumps. You just need to very well understand how to springball jump. And that's how you double springball jump. Okay, down has 2 majors. And right has a major. We'll see if it's a way through Wasteland, or if you have to take the long way. B, W, and M. So B is also new. I think we're going to be making progress in the seed again. Yeah, majors are the big white dots. There are 4 item icons on the map. The smallest pixel size one is missiles. The Hollow circles are energy and reserve tanks. X's are going to be supers and power bombs. And then the big filled in dots are the majors. And the majors are everything on the tracker. The unique items. So those are the ones you want. Of the majors that are left, X-rays, logically useless, and Antonio's out. Can take a save, it looks like. Would be a little better to take the save in Big Pink. Okay. Just happy to get those power bombs and get out. X-rays kind of useless. The suits are necessary. High jump would be really big. And then the others are just really nice. It would make sense if the next progression item that they're skipping is a power bomb pack, but somewhere else. Leslie got licked. They lick for 100 damage. Alright, time for progress. I'm ready on the tracker. There's two majors here on the left of Morph Ball Room. This was a long time ago. I don't even remember what was here. So yeah, the time they took to get up through the tube room wasn't too drastically different. Leslie was slower at the start, where Antonio did the gravity jump. But then it took quite a while for Antonio to get the final springboard jump. And maybe it is because Leslie had all that practice in Oasis. Okay. So wave beam gravity. I think you go over to the Meridian entrance here. For the known major. It's an X at Gauntlet E-Tank. So I'm expecting that to be power bombs. Antonio doing the one tile wall jumps. That's in hard. I think it's only this location that's in hard too. He's jumping the wrong way again. You can turn around at any time. Yeah, just keeps accidentally breaking spin. And that probably comes down being your input, whether it's a controller or a keyboard, however it is you're doing inputs, it's hard to press buttons at the same time. So that's why you need all of your years of experience playing Super Metroid. Yeah. Leslie jumped on that ledge, but is not going to reveal what the X is. Doesn't want to know, I'm sure. I would have gone up for the E-Tank. I like having extra E-Tanks. Especially in a Mentor tournament, and in medium bracket, and in medium lower bracket. The mentees tend to agree that they want extra E-Tanks compared to everyone else, or the hard races get restreamed. We're not playing for 3 tanks and that's it. We're playing for about 7. Wave beam get. Like double suit, 7 tanks. That's about what you expect. Screw attack is nice. Lock it in. As far as the time estimate goes, I don't think we're even doing that bad, really. Because the seed is solved. You're expecting an hour and a half seed. We're not going to finish in an hour and a half, but maybe it is a 2-hour seed still. Maybe we're not too happy with the time estimate. Either way, you come down here. Meridia typically connects to Norfair. They would really like to have another movement item. Either high jump or space jump. See if Leslie can get out of this Firefly pit. Leslie's on manual reserves, and another spike hit will kill him. Someone else spotted that on Team Leslie Nito. Aw. I don't know if that was supposed to be a damage boost or freezing the Firefly, but gets the wall jump out, no problem. Yeah, the time estimate for these races is an hour and a half per race. And it's also a best of 3. But still, where both sides got stuck for so long, this is going to be a long seed. They weren't able to access any maps until they got this out-of-logic powerbomb pack. But now we're cruising. There's not really too many things that can fully deny you from getting more maps. Even without Varia, having screw attack means you can do most of the Lord Norfair rooms. Sadly, Wave Beam allows you to freeze the bugs below the ground and you cannot pick up their drops. So you guys gotta be careful with the Grapple Tutorial 3 firm, and also the purple room firm, that you don't kill the bugs into the floor. Norfair Reserve has 2 items, but gonna hold off on getting that. Going down a sandpit. I'd call it risky, but it could be the answer. We'll find out in just a moment. I wonder who decided to go down the sandpit looking for the map. Well, it goes out to the left. That means it probably connects up to the map. This is Wreck Ship Shaft. In the Meridia theme. Can we get this spooky item before... Oh, it's a major. So, spooky X-ray. The spooky missile location, it's one of the locations that doesn't need Phantoon to be killed for the item to be placed. But Map Rando just turns it on the setting where all the items are placed. Whether you meet the conditions like that or not. Norfair up top, BT with a major. Okay. In the early days of Map Rando, there wasn't a setting for that. So you'd have to remember where the Phantoon locked locations were, where the wreck ship items were. like Berkshire B tank and the right supers, because the item wouldn't be there. And then the devs added a option to, it was to read hide your tiles. You could press a button combination and your tile would turn gray again, as if you hadn't explored it. And that was to help you remember to come back for your wreck ship locations. And also the Brinstar ones. Brinstar/criteria. Spots that aren't there until you awaken the planet. Well, that's gone now. It wasn't a very useful feature. Antonio playing blind? Definitely high enough. I'm not sure if everyone knows how to just bounce on the side of your bomb and get knocked to the edge. Specifically out of an IBJ. Oh, did I not? Okay. Right, that was Croc's room. Now we're in BT's room. It's a Varia suit. The seat is done. We just don't have any boss kills yet. Yeah. BT cannot survive a full beam. And the runners would still like to have a movement item. High jump or space jump. Speed is sometimes a strong movement item, and a lot of the time it makes your movement worse. Can we get all majors before any boss kills? That would be something special. I'm not sure we've seen any bosses either. Just Mother Brain. Reserve tank not worth picking up, apparently. After coming to map Rando, I feel like reserve tanks are very interchangeable with E-tanks. On the higher difficulty, like, it makes you learn how to be proficient with your reserve tanks. But in classic Super Metroid Randomizer, you didn't really need reserve tanks. You never wanted to dip into them or refill them. Maybe because it was so slow to do that. But it feels like reserve tanks have more value in map Rando compared to classic Super Metroid Rando. We are one major away from all majors before any bosses. Uh-oh, that looks like a Fantoon. Wow. Doesn't even want X's. Setting it 2 power bombs. Does not want X's. Not Fantoon, there's hope. Oh no, Kraid. Aww. The dream is dead. So we're gonna get the Kraid kill and then continue through Brinstar, I'd expect. Because we already saw that it loops back up to Torian. There's a nice clean loop here. And Leslie just gonna be in the lead. I don't know if the lead changed, like, after how long it took Antonio to get this rainbow jump out of Meridia Tube. But if anything, it would have increased. Time for more E-tanks. Only reserve tanks, wow. See if we get this X. Fire bombs. Like, supers are always good, no matter your beam. Power bombs are still nice because you only have 5. But having all these other items, you don't need to... You don't expect to run out of power bombs. Like, it could happen. It would have to be a lot of grouped power bomb requirements. Now, sadly, at last, we must get our first boss kill. See how Leslie does on this grade quick kill. Leslie's played a lot of Super Metroid over the years. Just hasn't really focused on it, I don't think. Antonio revealed in the past interview that Super Metroid's one of his favorite games. Been playing it a lot, but not like competitively until this year, was it? Okay. Decent, great kill. And for the quick kill skip, just did those 2 charge shots. Nice and easy. Right. So we've seen Mother Brain. Mother Brain's up at Wreck Ship. And that would really be even more reason to come down to Meridia instead of Brinstar earlier on. I think the biggest reason was for the major, which was Screw Attack. But now we're just clearing out the rest of the map. Mother Brain's in Wreck Ship. We have 3 more maps to get. So Brinstar, Wreck Ship, and Criteria. That's how I remember it, but it's been a while. What's your plan? Building up speed before running through ice shutters. You can just start running in ice shutters and make it. But I don't see how we don't follow the exact same path between the 2 runners here. Man. They're blinding all the majors, but unfortunately Kraid had to be there. GG to me. I'm gonna get a full tracker. The high jump's nice. Now you can move as you want. My Dragon. The only question is how you want your Dragon fried. Is it a microwave or is it this direct electricity through the grapple beam? Microwave it is. Looks like Leslie knows how to do the microwave kill. Like, it's not just that you toggle off and on microwave or X-ray. You need to wait out the iframes on the enemy. And that means you hold it for the 60 frames and then release. Maybe not 60. Does anyone actually know frame numbers? Yeah. You hold X-ray on until the iframes are over, and then you release it for one active frame so that the game calculations advance, and then you turn X-ray back on. And an active frame is different from just having it off. It has a bit of a open up and close time on X-ray. Antonio side collecting 25 supers. Leslie did not want to fall there. There's no reason to go back to Norfair and Meridia. All that does is loop back into Torian eventually. So we're at the bottom of Big Pink now. Head back up to Wreck Ship and look for your final bosses. AntonioFornaris at an hour 31, going to be getting a first boss kill. Welcome to the Super Metroid map Rando Mentor Tournament, where the seed went off the rails, even with 2 expert level mentors guiding the runners. I think they both overlooked a location that had their power bombs. And so they were running around for 35 to 40 minutes, making blind not progress. I'd say even then, I was about an hour 10. Like, the entire race up till then, they were very even. The sequence broke their progression at the exact same time. But now that we're into you have all the items and just finish the game mode, Leslie's been pulling ahead. Leslie had Discord audio on. So I'll see if that is fixed for the next race. We try to keep the audio on the leader. I'd say that Leslie is strictly ahead here. Alright, we've seen Ridley. Ridley time. Maybe there's no need to go into criteria after all. Ridley takes 20 shots. Someone in Eddie's Discord right before the race asked how many tanks you need for Ridley in basic. And they had charge wave plasma. And I looked it up in the calculator. It needed 17 tanks. And that's with Varia in basic. And both suits. Not just Varia. It was both suits, 17 tanks. Charge wave plasma. The numbers get wacky when you look at the extremes on the boss calculators. Yeah, it's at 2.5 reserves and all of the E-tanks. If you have Ice Beam, So charge ice, wave, plasma. Then you didn't need reserves. It was just the 14 tanks. And double suits. And then if you had supers, then it was about 8 tanks. Double suit 8 tanks. There we have it. All the items tracked. Both sides. It's too bad Antonio wasn't ever able to make it up to the top of Main Street. Now we know there wouldn't have been anything there. Maybe power bombs. Not even the top of Main Street, it was the middle of Main Street. Leslie was able to do his sequence break through Oasis. Antonio was trying that one for a while. Maybe Nis is going to assign that as homework. Because it's absolutely like a good thing to know. And there's our Fantoon in wreck ship. No, don't want to jump when you're doing microwave. You need 0 vertical speed to activate X-ray. That's something that basically only matters when you're doing advanced X-ray climbs. Both sides doing a microwave kill at the same time, even. It has to be that if you're getting a jump, a little too high. Antonio could have done a forward shot, actually. But typically I wouldn't do a full height jump. I do a controlled jump. From that position. This is in medium logic. It's the top turret, but on either side. I think technically it's always the left one. But grapple kill with the top turrets in medium. Alright. I was going to be saving, and then on the way to Mother Brain. Mother Brain's not far away at all. I said it was wreck ship. Yeah, here it is. Looks like we're getting an ice seb clip. So the trick here is to jump very low. You need to do a spin jump that's very low. It'll clip you on top of the Rinka. Yeah, Leslie looks really comfortable at this part of the game. This might be more... This might reveal how Game 2 and perhaps 3 go. Or Leslie's future games go. Might take the start a little slower, and then once you get all the items and you're comfortable, you can play fast. That's something that you mostly see in speedrunners, playing randomizer. Like, you're distracted while you have to think about what you want to do in the scene. But then when you don't have to think as much, you can just focus on executing. But it feels like most of the map runner players now either are Rando mains or have been playing Rando long enough that they got over it. So Leslie is done with Mother Brain. Now the escape. 2 minutes 5. That's not too large of a timer. Didn't get the Fantoon map though. Hopefully that's not a problem. You never think about the escape. No. If we had that Fantoon map, it might have shown us what the Main Street item was. We can see that actually taking that path wouldn't have led anywhere. I don't know if Antonio ran into Ridley. I don't think I missed that. Oh, Ridley's right here. I just remembered Fantoon was this way. So we're gonna be doing this Ridley fight. I guess I can comment on it. How interesting it is an escape, really. So Moonwalk. Everyone has to learn Moonwalk now. It helps with tricks too much. You want to learn it eventually, so it's better to start early. But Ridley is where it's going to cause problems. You have to learn how to turn around, and you do that by crouching usually. Do a crouch turnaround. Could switch to supers. If you're using supers, you don't have to moonwalk. But then the problem is pressing all the buttons at the same time. I just feel like that's a keyboard issue. That eventually you play enough that you get comfortable doing it. Would definitely like to see supers though. I think the fight's over. There we go. Leslie hits the ship. Antonio with the forefoot. Mark Ridley done. Hello. Welcome back. And for more Map Rando Mentor Tournament. Game 2. AntonioFornaris versus Leslie Pro 04. I want to confirm the hash code on the seed, but they were sitting on the file select screen. Are they playing the same seed? We don't know. That looks about right. Antonio didn't start timer again. So I will banish that timer away. And we're going to be following Leslie once again. And this time I'll actually let him know to pay attention to that in the future. Timer gone. That's the protocol. The timer is off or misleading. You just send it away. And now we're back. This is game 2. We are in the medium bracket, lower part of the bracket. That means they've both taken a loss in the first round. And this is a potential elimination race. So Antonio and Beard. Oh, his bareness? That's not right. Did someone typo Beard's name? I couldn't have done that. And then copy paste it over and over with the wrong spelling. Okay, morph ball. Sorry about that, beard. And gravity. Morph gravity. This is going to be much faster. Don't have to worry about climbing Main Street. Almost land on that crab. And you can also see there's another major in there. So it's likely that you have to leave, either collect bombs or power bombs somewhere, and then come back for that item. Good chance of being a speed booster in there. Now that we've seen screw attack. This seed's gonna be so much faster. Like, what makes seed slow is you have to do slow things. There's 3 things that make a seed slow. Either dying, like dying on loop. Good example. There is doing slow things, such as water rooms with only spring ball. And then there's also not having maps. So last seed had a couple of those. But this time we already have gravity suit, so it's going to go so much faster. Ah, there's speed booster. So speed booster gets you screw attack, and then it's up to the mentees if they can pull off the sequence break to get this item behind gravity. To do it with these items plus screw attack would be in very hard. If it was screw attack plus x-ray, then that's in hard. But it's called the hole-in-one. You can also do it with a tunnel crawl. It's one of those higher level techs that are convenient to know and were mostly not known about before Map Rando because it didn't have much application. But tunnel crawl is how you get the Green Hills tube item. How you get in and out with that morph ball. I don't know why we're doing this. Antonia, please collect your screw attack. Leslie doing the same thing, but saved it. Leslie has the more experience between the two of them. Between the 2 runners. Yeah, Leslie's been racing Super Metroid Randomizer for years. And I believe I heard Antonio started this year. Now, this Shine Spark up to screw attack is in logic. And it looks like you go to ship after. But this is called Can Shine Charge Shine Spark Movement. It looks to me like if you reset the room through that door, and you run in through the door, you're going to land on the crab every time. That wasn't really something that I thought about. Because the strat is for in-room only. There's enough runway that you can make it in-room. Enough speed, and then you fall down. Exactly as how Antonio did it. But where he reset the room first, then that crab starts approximately where you land. It's a global crab, so it's going to be moving while you're up here. But you might need to jump a little bit too once you land. Because on 0 tanks, you don't really make it to the item. Okay, that was expert pro. I think the majority of people, even those who have played the game for a long time, would have missed that. Usually try to line up. Leslie was too far to the left. This looks like you're near the top of the room, so you continue up anyway. But I want to see Antonio head back to the ship, because that's a clear use of screw tack to open up 3 more doors. And with screw tack, they can get to the major. Ah, this is definitely Beard telling him to just get it. So this might take a bit. Of course, it's always possible that the mentees are watching races and have seen people do this before. But it'd be up to the mentors to tell them how to do it. That was pretty fast. Charge beam again. The idea is pretty simple. You just jump into the gap and aim down, and then you do a buffered turnaround spin jump. But getting the correct height is like not something that you can do on command. I think it helps having speed off too. I don't know if that was planned. Leslie is someone who would probably know how to do that. But I don't know if he wants to try it, and Nito would know that's not in logic. I think they both would know it's not in logic. Early power bombs this time. So we have supers and power bombs already. And gravity suit, so go a lot faster this race. Here's your first E-tank. There's always a filler E-tank in the first possible filler location. Charge is an item that's good to know where it is, but you're not really going to get value out of it for a while. You need it for endgame mostly. If it's an early game charge, then you would think about Croc, but at any other point, it's really Ridley and Mother Brain. Ridley's not an objective in the seed. So, charge is really just useful for Mother Brain. Going this way, huh? I would have checked the left door for sure. You want to check those one screen gaps. It would have been better to not bail. But also the top door doesn't connect it anywhere. In that situation where you have to make an immediate reaction play, I think it's better to go to the top. But they also didn't need to go to the top at all. Screw attack. It also worked out better because there's an ammo refill there. So even though Antonio spent 2 power bombs, you just get them back for free. Oh, we don't have screw attack. We're gonna have screw attack eventually. So, this shine spark is a little bit tricky for medium. Really, you just need to walk off and fall, and they'll put you in the right position. You want to line up with the ledge, the one they were standing on a second ago. You walk off right into that ledge. But I think you also have to jump after you touch the ground. you can't shine spark while falling. So what some runners will do is they'll do a spin jump instead of falling all the way down. Do a spin jump, normalize against the wall, and then shine spark up. Okay. I'm fairly against this play that Leslie's doing. We know that there's power bombs over here, and you can get away with not getting screw attack. Heading back in. If you need, like, if you use the ship revert, then you can't come back over here, though. It's, I think it's in very hard, breaking all those blocks with the 0 E-tanks. But Leslie really struggling. Antonio's off to a big lead now. One major there. Metal Pirates. Major by the ship. T. I'm not sure what the state of the world map is. I don't think we're done with Meridia. And you're not really getting this major on the right, are you? So you'd revert? Yeah. Revert, get the major by the ship, head back. Then I suppose you go into Meridia. Torian's pretty far. Gets the rare power bomb drop. If you're feeling particularly spicy, could go down to Cathedral with that extra power bomb. I get the Cathedral tank. We're still early enough that extra E-tanks are very nice. Yeah, Leslie's just not doing a vertical spark. I know it's because he's like trying to jump before landing, or he's trying to like do the angle down plus jump, but doesn't know how. That's the problem I see anyway, is that you need to jump before activating the shine spark, because 99 energy is barely not enough. It might even be that there's a E-tank that you could get. Possible there's the logic filler E-tank somewhere that you're supposed to have. There you go. Gets it on the spin jump. Okay. So, we've seen everything in Meridia and B. And we've seen everything in B, not Meridia. You're in Meridia now. But the map looks very gettable. Save the wave beam. Charge wave, pretty nice. Wave beam has uses mostly with blue gates, but also with Batoon. So that could happen. You can see that there's not enough space for a sand pit below these Batoon E-tank sand rooms. It's your power bombs. Oh, they did blind into wave. That's such a neato play. Just check all the doors around the ship because you're so far away from the map. And you want every type of item. But I like doing Meridia first. You totally want the major that was by the ship that you left behind. And Meridia is closer from there. And then with these items, you can probably get any map. It just heats your concern. That looks like a map. Ah. They should get this charge beam. Team Leslie. Oof. Your map is on the other side of the wall. Now, if you go down with these items, down Red Tower, you can get up with either a Springball Jump or a Shine Spark. Actually, the top isn't in logic. So, none of this is likely in logic. And that's why you'd have to walk your mentee through how to do this. The Springball Jump from the bottom to mid Red Tower, kind of particularly hard. Antonio mostly needs to watch out to not break the block, break the floor. Almost. Yeah. So that was taken out of medium in the most recent patch. Now requires high jump. But pulled it off. Ooh. Let's top of bowling. So nothing over here. I suppose their save isn't in a good enough place to just revert. But how slow is Gauntlet really? It'll be very interesting to see if we get divergence. Leslie's gonna be closer to the Torian transition. Antonio reverted back over here. I think that's a right sandpit. On the right pit. But there's no way to be sure. I'm a little concerned with how they get out. But the map is worth a lot of value points. So you want to get that. Is that a bowling locked map? We can't say that for sure yet. What's in here? Okay. Oh no. They have a save right here, so it should be perfectly fine. Nice. Got the one crumble jump. Oh no, not nice. Ah. So Fantoon is here. You gotta decide how to play this. This is a tricky situation. I think even if you kill Fantoon and heal to full, that'll take a long time. But you'd have to do the pirate room pretty well. You don't want to use missiles. I think if you are fighting Fantoon, you want to get your health pretty high. And then actually do the fight. If I am trying to support Team Antonio's side, then I'm not happy to run into Fantoon here. They're really not playing it where you would farm to full and then get them out. So I think they're going to leave them out. And Pantene will die in the next phase. So they need to run right for the Crumble Shaft and hope to get enough drops. And then after that, you would farm. No, I don't like this situation at all. Because we haven't settled how to get back from the bottom of Red Tower yet. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is right. I think you have to bail on the map. Collect a few drops and then save. His climb up Crumble Tower was really poor. So with some better health, like should have enough to, like a good climb, full health, should be able to get up to the map. There's a lot of runway there for the Shine Spark, if you break the blocks correctly. But if you're spring ball jumping up, Red Tower, it's kind of nasty. Yeah. Go to the right here. I wonder if that was scouting for a firm. This is interesting how Nito and Leslie are coming back. That makes it seem like they're going to be in the same position. But we've seen that Leslie is a little more practiced at spring ball jumps now. I guess they made it look like Antonio was better at shines for parks and short charges. Supers. It takes 2 supers to kill BT. And actually using supers is smart. If you keep your missiles full, then you'll get a lot of health drops. And that's what they want right now. But they also could have just farmed the fight. That's pretty solid. Do a round of mock droids and then save. And you're fine. Really would have liked to have seen a round of mock droids first. Maybe we'll get... I would want to go on full health. I would tell the mentee to full health this. And also, you want to go right side? Okay, might be able to do this. Do you have speed booster on? Can do it. No. Oh, that was so close. One extra mock droid drop would have been fine. Well, this time Antonio is aware that speed booster is going to throw off the jump. And I think we're watching Leslie do the same series of events. Really had a chance to do something different, where they had the ship major already. But if you're deciding between Meridia and Torian, Torian connects to Wreck Ship and Criteria, and Meridia connects to Norfair. Ah, no, that was it. Can do it. He's in. Okay, we get the map. You don't need any of this. They can revert. It looks like left sandpit's fine. You can get out through Spore Spawn. Is there an Orphere here that I'm not seeing? Huh. You definitely revert from the map. I think it's fine to walk back. Because you want to get the left sandpit. I guess crab hole is slow. It's really up to the mentee on if they think they're capable of climbing Red Tower. The two ways up with Spring Ball or Speed Booster wouldn't be in logic. So the way that you could get back is going left through the Sand Hall and then Crab Hole and then Spore Spawn. Yeah. I think you still want to do Meridia, so I hope they go back. And I don't have a strong opinion on reverting back to ship and running down versus climbing back up from where they were. Okay, so how is this going for Leslie? They're down below the bottom of Red Tower. You have to go through the save to get to Fantoon. And we're playing Pirates. It's important to shout that out. We're playing Pirates, so you don't need the Fantoon kill. We'll see how well Leslie handles this. Antonio spent a lot of time trying to get the Fantoon kill, get out. But they had a big lead from the early game. And that is what Leslie is trying to make up. Revert. When you save before having to do something health intensive, you gotta have it in your mind that you can revert and get all your health back. Now, if you go for the Sandpit Major, you have to force Spore Spawn. I guess it could be like Ice or Space Jump, and then you could take the Red Tower path. I imagine you want to go up first, too. But Spore Spawn isn't that slow. Give up on the X. What is this room? This is Red Pirates. I think we're pausing too long. Just get the major. Skip the X. Welcome to my commentator style, where I just backseat both the runners. I did Space Jump. So Space Jump's really nice. We saw throughout like all of the first race, they had speed, but no high jump or space jump. But speed is going to throw off your jumps most of the time. Maybe more than it's going to help. It's going to allow you to do a couple of rooms with Shine Sparks. But even with Shine Sparks, a lot of the time you need to do a short charge to actually be able to get through the room. Okay, so Leslie was not ready for the heat. You do dive into the one room that's available. Very astute. You want that. Nice. No, it's the other one. An X. Antonio did reset a super pack. Like, supers are kind of nice. I think we see the sports spawn fight, but they don't have to do it. Sports spawn's probably slower, actually. I think sports spawn's slower. Because this should be maybe a 4-round sports spawn. Probably 3. Leslie's on 1 hit from death. Get some drops. Okay, all's fine. You can go back to watching sports spawn. But again, Leslie needs to get enough energy off of this Phantoon to run back to the save. And it should be fine. Okay, your choice is either you get the kill, run back to the save, and then take a second trip for the map, or you farm the flames right after he appears here, and he does infinite flames. You farm those, and then you'd have enough health to go directly up to the map. Okay, sport spawn down. Sport spawn is 3 supers and a missile. As long as you get one of those every cycle. Not too long. You can't place the power bomb on the floor. Okay, so Leslie gets the map, but doesn't have the health to get out. Unless there's a room at the top you can use. Wow. There's heat room into heat room at the top. So that's fine. Leslie did this a lot faster. And now just deciding how to get these majors. Has the same problem where Red Tower is a bit tricky. It looks like they have a closer save though. Do the runners watch back the race? They should. To see what their opponents did, what the commentary team said about their play. Just to watch yourself, to see if the way that you played matches how you think you played. There's a lot of reasons why it's a good thing to be on the restream. Watch back your play. I don't know who actually does that, but you should. I think it's a common thing when trying to improve at a skill, is you want to record yourself and then watch it back. But it's also kind of boring, so a lot of people don't do it. But life lesson. Record yourself and watch it back. And we're back into Brinstar. With Space Jump Screw Attack, they can do worst room in the game now. And Varia. That indicates to me that this route is very strong. And going radio was the correct play. The alternative, like if you go Torian, then you just do every other zone. And still need to get Varia after anyway. Or maybe we don't need Varia because it's pirates. Majority of the mentees are going to need Varia for Ridley. But if we're talking just Metal Pirates and Mother Brain, then you could do that without Varia. That depends how hard it is to do all this other stuff. Okay. Show us how it's done, Beardness. Through Antonio. Metal Pirates is one of the harder rooms. I feel like most of the medium runners aren't like practiced at it. The proper way to do it. I see this a lot, where you chase one of the pirates around and just take the hits from the other one. Oh, is he resetting the room? He doesn't have enough supers. The left pirate was almost dead, so that revert was kind of bad. But there's also a major here on the right that I think they could get. The way to do this, by the way, you stand on the triple tile, the 3 metal tiles, and you jump over the pirate. And you kind of shoot at him as he comes at you. You have to do charge shots to finish this. But Leslie's coming back. So Leslie definitely made up some time. Okay, Antonio's got it figured out. It could have done the fight that way from the start. Would have been more accurate with the ammo. But it's just another thing that you want to practice for the next race. Take that as your homework for next time. I don't know where we're going this way. Going down the Edikun B-toms would have been a lot faster. I don't think the save... Like, the save is slightly better if you revert the major, but then you don't have the major. Yeah. Leslie definitely saved time on the Meridia segment. Or this Meridia revisit segment, I should say. It was the first Meridia segment where he lost a bunch of time. Antonio's still in the lead. Even has an objective completed. So says the tracker. But let's see what's over here. They have both suits charge. So you're mostly looking for beams. Ice is really good. And plasma is really good. I don't know if Antonio can ice sub-skip. But otherwise, ice is good damage. Wave itself is really strong beam damage. It even stacks with plasma. Doesn't it? ChatGPT, how do I think I revert that? I did. Okay. I think Team Antonio doesn't plan on finishing with anything less than plasma. Either plasma or all supers. So in that sense, Spazer's not worthwhile. Yeah. School gonna start handing out more practical assignments in the future. demonstrate through Super Metroid gameplay how to count to 1200 using a mix of supers and missiles. If the metal pirate kicks form a triangle, where's your safe spot? That's the future of education. Oh. Nito and Leslie skipping entirely. So Nito does like skipping checks, like majors like this. But it's more about what Leslie needs to finish. Whether it's definitely plasma or if a weaker beam is fine, and a mix of supers and weak beam. I'm not really enjoying this play towards top of West Ocean. There's 2 X's over here. But Leslie is now in the positional lead. There's other X's out there. Oh, right. And then if you're on 1 super, you can't really go for the X that's locked down below. But you could farm the bug. So Antonio should have farmed the bug before coming over here. Gonna get the other X first, so it's fine. So we have a close major, a far major, C and W, and N. Interesting. Gonna save. The save would mean going N. To me, that's what it means. Normally you'd want to get the close major and then save. Antonio has run out of supers. That was a super door, and then the hopper just ate the shot. So things kind of falling apart for Antonio's route. I think we're keeping high jump. The speedrunners know the value of high jump. I don't know if the mentees know. When you talk about items, you mostly just talk about what it unlocks. But this is a race, so you need to speak upon how much time it saves to have an item. I've seen Antonio do that a lot now. Not select off of supers and then fire extra supers. And I think that's a input system issue. Oh, nice. Plus North map. Yes, this race is going to go a lot faster. So we have stacked X's. That's Mother Brain plus Kraid, Pit Pirates. So we need Plasma. We're just looking for Plasma Pirates. There's a major down below. I don't know what their thoughts on any of this is. I think you go down for Pit Pirates and then come back up and save. Because that gets you a major. Looks like that was Power Bombs as the second X. But if you're watching back the VOD here, this would be a great time to measure how much time it's taking to get these 2 X's. Where the Power Bombs are 0 value, and the Super Pack is really the only thing you gain from this. And since you already have charge and a beam, you don't need to depend on supers. But if we compare it to what Leslie has done, Leslie went through Torian, got the map, Did a little loop for a major, which is high jump. Went to Norfair. It looks like left Norfair. Got the map for Norfair and is now up in Wreck Ship, looking for the last objective. That was in the time it took for Antonio to get one super pack. Okay, so we'll see what they do. Beardness and Antonio so far have been playing towards all majors. So we'll see what they do. It makes a lot of sense to me to get the pit major. They're also saving right away. To me, if you take this save, you want to do something slow. Like get the far major or go to Norfair, do a zone. The way I see this, you just do the loop and then save. If you want to get the far major, then usually you should get the close major first to see if it's like exactly plasma. And if you want to go to the zone first, then usually you're skipping both majors. But it also can just be that they want to save and aren't trying to min-max it. That's definitely a thing where the runners just save a lot. Leslie's audio looked clean this time. Switch it over. So going down is good though, right? They can't revert. I'm pretty sure you go for pit pirates here.
Some plasma pirates.
Nah, not clean. It's over. No Nito allowed until the interview. I didn't see if Leslie reverted back from Norfair. I also wasn't watching this wreck ship map. Yeah, Antonio came back up too. I think getting pit pirates is strictly better. Those plasma pirates. You get an X and you get a major if you go to pit pirates. And the junction is in a place where it doesn't affect your final time to do all that now versus later. What kind of tricks have we seen? Like the Main Street wall jump thing? It's really, really useful. If you don't learn it now, you want to learn it as soon as you go into hard logic. So I can't say that's a bad thing to learn. I'd have to keep an eye out for a trick that they're being taught live. I tried to tell a mentee how to do snail clip with Morphin X-ray, and that ended up not working out. That's another one that you want to learn as soon as you go into hard races. I'd say it's still helpful to, like, be told how to do it, even if it's not great for the current race. It's something that you definitely want for your future races. Crossroom jumps. Nis has been telling Antonio to do crossroom jumps. Those are absolutely a great thing to tell your mentee to do. Like climbing up a crab shaft or radiotube, or what was the one we saw? Radiotube was one, maybe that was it. It just saves a lot of time most of the time. The logical gravity jumps are going to be harder, but the time-saving ones are easy enough and just save time. And they prepare you mentally for the logic ones that are going to be harder later. Right. Plasma is an objective. And they also did metal. Pirates are a little harder to track. Not quite thinking about them. Underwater wall jump. Do not learn that. If you're talking about the single tile underwater wall jump, then that one's fine. That's pretty easy to do. It just doesn't come up hardly ever. It's more like here's a weird mechanic of the game that's cool to know about. But if you're talking about true underwater wall jump that's in extreme, then you do not want to learn that. It takes like multiple practice sessions of focus on that to learn it. And at the medium level, you can learn a lot in a single practice session. Perhaps follow along on any of our Map Rando tutorials that have been created over the preceding weeks to this tournament. We had 3 tutorials for getting into Map Rando. So the first session was Sinith and Wordsayer. Then we had Nito and Dark Josh, and Spiffy and... I might have gotten the mentee order wrong. Spiffy and Wolfloat. So you can check those out. They're all on the SpeedGaming YouTube right now. Possibly removed from the Twitch VOD archives at this time, since SpeedGaming can't actually keep their VODs just in storage for too long with the current Twitch policy. And then also I did a tutorial aimed more at expert and challenge. I don't think that one's on the SpeedGaming YouTube yet. Yep. So Antonio did an extra trip to Criteria. Oh, really? Turned Ice Beam off. That's an Aussie play. Oh, I didn't see what the major was. Whoops. I had to play the game of watching the player move and see how long it takes for me to figure out what item they picked up. I think it should be bombs, based on what's left. Mark bombs. Okay. Antonio at 25 supers, that's pretty good. I hope the X above blue hoppers actually was power bombs. I didn't misread the situation. Because the value of 1 super pack versus 2 is drastic. But I think Antonio wants to have extra supers. They saw that they're not keeping Spazer. Although I don't know if the way that they reverted Spazer was correct. Okay, this time I watched them pick up ice, and my mental tracker mind marked it. But my physical hand did not mark it. It is tracked now. Yeah. I think Antonio should have just blinded into Spazer. Take the faster path there. But that's not what they did. Epic Pirates. And finally, Kraid Pirates are directly below Mother Brain. Is this a save? Come back up to Torian for a save, or what? A farm? No, mini Kraid's a farm. We're fine. Heading this way? Oh. No, that's not it. I think it has to be Mother Brain ammo then. Because 3515 plus Ice Skip, that's fine on Mother Brain. But then doing Charge Ice Wave for the entire fight, it's pretty dangerous. This is where Antonio's like saving time over Leslie's route, because Antonio already invested the time to check X's earlier. But Nito and Leslie gave themselves the option of running into better X's or even into Plasma, like by exploring first instead of going for the really out of the way X's. So if you're suggesting that mentees reduce their E-tank requirements, that's something that just happens as you play the game more. In a race, you totally just want to do what's comfortable. In practice, you want to do what's comfortable. Because you'll just be completing the fight and getting better at it that way. But to actually reduce the number, you have to like put in enough time that like you're pretty good for your skill level at the challenge, whether it's Ridley or just generic heated room, Mother Brain. But basically, you have to focus practice on that specific problem, and then you figure out like what your current requirements are. But no one in this tournament should be needing 14 tanks. And plus, they're all going to be getting mostly supers. It's a mix of supers and E-tanks that are going to help you with the Ridley fight and the Mother Brain fight. Oh no, they took the wrong way. You have to go up and over. The secret Acid Chozo objective. You're on Leslie's side. I'd say that if you want to improve it Ridley, you go in the practice hack and you improve it Ridley. But don't fool yourself with your requirements and needs for the fight. You should have a good idea of like what's safe and what the amount is that you could get lucky and kill the boss with. Don't want to be too safe. I don't think anyone's trying to be too safe. Maybe that's what you really mean. So I think Leslie's going to kill mini crate and then come back in. Like screw attack in, get full supers. Okay, there's 4 majors left. We've seen Spazer. And I guess the others were just too far. Criteria had a few. But the value of the remaining majors, you have grapple and X-ray, like really pulling down the value. Everything that's left is so far away that even for plasma, it doesn't quite save time. You kind of think of it as like probability. It's a 1 in 3 chance to get plasma. For Leslie's side, it'd be 1 in 4. And so that drops the value of the check by a quarter, or by a lot. Yeah. Even Oates doing the 0+3 Ridley fight with 30 supers. You wouldn't do that in a race. The only reason you'd do that would be to learn Ridley's patterns and how he moves. But you can do that with like the regular 3+1. 3+1, if you're like well practiced at the fight, it should always succeed, right? Doing a 0+3 would be it would train your reserve pause abuse management over like extended period of time while you're also really distracted and focused. But other than that, you're trying to get optimal Ridley RNG. Oh wow, these dodges. Leslie with the dodges. Jumping through, but not into those hoops. Wow. Very nice fight from Leslie. And it's over too. That was excellent. Then Antonio's right here, actually. If Antonio was just a little bit closer, like the ammo would almost be the entire fight. But let's lean to the escape. Minute 50. They have to go to T and then left and then all the way through B. So a lot of B. I'm not using Leslie's audio because he has the voice call coming through. We gave him a chance. Didn't follow the rules. You know, this race, in the end, was really close. 12 supers is an odd number. Mathematicians may tell you it's even. Normally you stop at 7 or 8. I think it's too early to be refilling reserves. Do like one charge shot. That was a fake out. That gets so many people. Another one. Okay, Antonio has the strongest reflexes. Normally, Mother Brain raises her head slowly and then the fight's over. But she did a slow head raise and then fired. It's the trickiest pattern. I think we might see Antonio finish. I'm not watching the race room. But into the escape, that's the rule of thumb for when to finish versus when to forfeit. But we have our winner. Leslie Pro 04 on Team Right. He's going to take the set 2-0. GG's Leslie. Gotta say, Sir of the Seed looked pretty dire and grim for Team Leslie. But just saved enough time in the mid-game that pulled ahead. That extra criteria check, you know? That's the difference. A lot of small differences. So we're going to give the participants, runners and mentors, a few moments to maybe watch the end of the race and pop in. Joined by Leslie Pro, our winner. Welcome.
Wow, that was an interesting 2 games. This last one, my mindset was I have a chance to check one more X to see if I had energy. I'm like, at this point, you see a chance where you gotta go for the win, you go for the win.
Yeah, the race ended up being super close. Yeah. Unfortunately, your final check not paying off, but you're able to handle the fight perfectly fine, even though you had those crazy onion ring patterns.
Yeah, that Mother Brain fight was crazy with the patterns.
Yeah, it's like I enraged Mother Brain or something.
Yeah, really. That's what it looked like. Antonio entered Mother Brain about when you were leaving, so it was very close. They spent a lot of time earlier on collecting more supers. Yeah, a lot of good.
I will say this was a lot better than the last Pirate Seed that I ran in practice and wound up posting on YouTube because it was so bad.
Yeah. Higher part of the seed, not so bad. I think so. A lot of there's a big hurdle in the seed with the Fantoon and that Varia placement. That was really how you gained a lot of your time back.
Yeah, I was wondering how the Varia placement played into it, and it just happened to be where I checked when I checked it. That's how randomizer goes. And then I was just off to just get whatever else I might need to finish it, and finish it.
Yeah, one difference was that like it started at the Spazer skip next to Metal Pirates. We saw Nis and Antonio revert, like take a save and revert the Spazer, and you just skipped it entirely and more or less skipped most of the majors from there on. Saved just that bit more of time.
We were looking for plasma, so like I told him before, if it wasn't plasma, then it was probably worth just resetting, or ice. Those were the only two things we were really after.
Yo, GG's.
Yeah, GG's. I tell you, the one thing that really tripped me up in that second seed was getting to spark up Main Street to get screw attack.
Yeah, Antonio had a large lead off of that.
Yo, that first seed was hell.
Yeah, that first seed was a bit of a stinker.
Oh my god.
Well, the power bonds being where they were was absurd.
Yeah.
For,
that
like,
was-
for
that-
medium, anyway.
That was crazy. GG's, Leslie. Great, great
Appreciate
race.
it. That first seed was that power bomb placement. That was for me. That was a dice roll. I did not bomb through the back of Gauntlet because that's slow. Do I really want to do that?
Yeah.
No.
I was very surprised that you were both doing like way out of logic things before checking that item.
Yeah, I
We
was.
We tried some crazy things. We were desperate. I was desperate.
The reason that like he went around there, I was like, well, that doesn't. At the time, I wasn't thinking of a loop. I was like, well, you have to go through the power bombs, and you have no, or through the tank, and you have no way back. So I was like, well, that doesn't seem right. But I should have been like, you have a save, just go look through the door, and if that would have happened, that would have changed that seat entirely. But it did not.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Thinking of the. Go ahead.
there were quite a few points where I was like, yeah, this part here would definitely not be in logic. Like when we went up Oasis with all the spring ball jumps, and when we did find the power bombs that we found, I was like, yeah, that's definitely not what the seed expected of us. But if we found them, we'll take them and we'll just run with it.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when Antonio was over there earlier, he just left out normally instead of going down through the tube.
Yeah,
prayer.
we did. Well, we reset it because like he had the save in over there, but there was many options that were available, kind of, but just obviously didn't lead to anything.
Yeah,
We
Yeah, there's
tried everything except that.
yeah. There's also the time where Leslie was looking at G4 and just reset out of that early on.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, he reset out of it, and then I was like, "Oh, dude, you should have went down there." I was like, "I had a seed
Yeah.
to where it expected you to spark up, like, and if down below is a sparkable spot, then that could be free to see what's down there." And turns out, going down there was what was actually the thing to do.
Yeah, that was worth it.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
there's a lot of new trick learning in the seed.
Oof. Yeah.
Just trying to sequence break whatever you could. All reasonable things that you should know, like going forward if you continue racing. But,
Yeah, we were like,
not in
I
logic.
didn't know. I was pretty sure that it could have been possible that transition jump was possibly in medium right
Yeah.
there for that, because things have changed so much that like I don't necessarily know where that part is now. So
Yeah.
like I just figured that would have been a thing that could have been done, but on a
So-
controller I forget the things that could be a little
So
bit
in
different,
medium-
especially when right, and I haven't done it for a long time either. From where I started, I mean, you saw me Aussie DNF many times when that trick came into a thing because I didn't even know how to do it at all.
Yeah.
So
So in medium, no transition jumps at all.
that makes sense.
But what's a little misleading about that is you can carry a shine spark into a new room and do some things. So I wasn't
Which
even
that's
sure
why
about
we went
the-
and looked at that top right door at the
things.
time, because I was like, ooh, if there's,
Yeah, that.
you know, it just didn't work.
and happy climb.
Ended up being the tree and the one that's like the last room before going down to Brain with the little eyeball monster in it.
Yeah, jumping into Main Street off the wall jump. Definitely want to learn how to do that.
Oof,
But just
yeah.
a whole lot of tricks
the
that we
easy
saw
logic
that
break.
you want to learn.
Eventually. Right now it's
That's
hard.
Yeah.
That's
Not to
that's
be-
on my list. That's on my list of stuff I gotta learn.
In that race, like the big time difference between the two of you in the first race, you got power bombs in the same spot at the exact same time.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, that was
Wow.
crazy. But then Leslie had all the practice spring ball jumping through
Ooh,
Oasis and was able to get
nice.
out faster.
Nice.
He was only struggling with the that, so I was like, well, maybe because I saw him try to do the one tile jump, so I was like, well, maybe you can try that if you're having trouble with the spring balls. So he tried that for a little bit, and then went back to the spring ball, and he went back to that, went back to the spring ball, and then he was able to get it. But the timing, I will say, on spring ball jumps when you're very first starting to learn spring ball jumps, it's kind of brutal trying to figure out the pause timer with the jump at the same time, like especially on a controller, because you have to like kind of piano grip it sort of to like make it
Yeah.
super quick and effective, unless you have like alien fingers or something.
Yeah.
But the other one eventually that you'll get to, both of you, is doing double string ball jumps, and that's even worse timing. But once you
So I've
understand it,
seen.
well, once you understand it, it becomes kind of like a second nature thing. And unless you're Nito, then every trick is second nature, and nothing is in any difficulty. Everything is basic.
I'll just go. It's fine. I'll just go.
Listen,
Yeah.
if you're Nito, everything is basic, including beating the seed with no morph.
That's crazy.
He's the king.
But
Amazing,
no,
amazing.
the spring ball jump practice definitely came in handy, and running through both of these seeds and encountering a trick where it's like, okay, we don't have the trick down right away just yet. It really gave some nice opportunity to practice and give feedback for what can be adjusted to get the trick to work. So like for the spring ball jumps, we talked about the timing of when to press jump out of the unpause so that it would come out successfully. And then for that in-room shine spark for Main Street, we talked a little bit about the tap timing, and once we got through some of the feedback for that, it started clicking. So nice amount of learning, I think, came out of that as well. So that's really nice to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely both learned some stuff that they didn't know that could be done before. So I think that was, either way, for both of them was super beneficial.
Super, yeah. It was really good. It was great practice. It was fun. So GG's. Good luck moving forward, Leslie. And
Thanks, I appreciate it. GG's.
Yo, yeah. Thank you for having me, Aussie, and everybody involved. Who was doing what do you call that?
Tracking.
Tracking.
Yeah, I've been doing tracking.
Yeah.
Aussie's pretty good. He can watch both screens and track at the same time. He's kind of a G.
So thank you for doing all of that, and it's been fun being part of this tournament. I've learned a lot. I've met a lot of cool people. So hey, it's a win-win.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I echo the same thing. GG's, thanks for comms, thanks for restream. I gotta go have dinner, so I'm gonna get out of here. I'll catch you all later for the next one.
All
See you
right,
next
bon
mission.
appetit. Peace.
GG's.
All right, people. Bye. GG's.
I will say, I say on all of these, for the matches that are coming up, if you know what you're doing and you're looking to mentor, then jump on in and get after it. And then if you want to do the comms and the marking and stuff for the tracking, then Aussie's your guy.
Okay. You found words, Nito?
Yeah. Just I echo this every time I do a post race or post mentoring interview, that it's always really nice to see the growth that's happening and seeing the skills develop, and hopefully we see a bunch of the participants from the mentor tournament showing up in some hard, tricky races eventually. So I'm really excited and looking forward to it. So good job, Antonio. Good job to Leslie as well. And
Thank you.
hope to see you guys in some races.
Thank you so much. Have an amazing night, nice evening, and peace out.
Great. That sounds like a great closer to me. So, thanks everyone for being here, and we'll see you all next mission.